This time on Finnegan's Garage, I was going to give you an update on Blasphemi. Except, well, the engine dropped a valve during drag week and took out the cylinder head, the engine block, the rods, the pistons, well, pretty much everything in the bottom end. So here's a photo of an example of the carnage. I don't have video of it because I don't even have the car back at my house yet. But what I do have for you guys are life hacks. And I'm finally going to announce who won all of these awesome Campbell Hausfeld air tools. First tip I have for you, not original to me. I actually picked this up from my buddy Jesse Spade, who builds killer motorcycles. He realized that we all burn through these roll-lock wheels pretty fast, and once you waste the edge of one, they're fairly useless. And they come in two different sizes, so why not just cut the used part off of that one and make it look a lot like this one, switch to a smaller arbor, and keep on trucking. So all you gotta do is put it on there. You can either cut it right there while it's on the arbor, or trace it with a Sharpie and then cut it. But either way, the end result is cut out the part that sucks and stop yourself from wasting money. Now the odds of me getting this perfectly round are slim to none, but that doesn't really matter. All that matters is this is one less wheel for me to buy. Yes! I get to keep on sanding with a wheel that most people would have thrown in the trash. This is Campbell Hausfeld's 1/4-inch right-angle die grinder. It's from the Get Stuff Done lineup of tools, many of which I've reviewed on this channel already, and that somebody's going to win at the end of this video. And if you're wondering how to build this cool tool rack, super easy. I did it in like 3 steps, took like half an hour. There's even a video of it. You can head on over and see it at Campbell Hausfeld's YouTube channel. One of the first tools every hot rodder should purchase is a test light. These are invaluable. Take that a step further, get yourself a digital multimeter. Suddenly, your diagnostic capabilities have expanded immensely. What do you do though if you're on the side of the road, middle of nowhere, and neither of those are present? Well, did you know, built into your car, nearly every car, is a test light. Or a taillight. This is the bulb out of the taillight from a 55 Chevy. All I need is this and a couple of pieces of wire, and I can verify that nearly any circuit in my car does or doesn't have voltage. Watch. All you do is strip a couple pieces of wire, and then you tape those pieces of wire. One to the body of the light, in this case, this 1157 bulb, and one to the contact terminal of the light. Tape those there. Then you ground the black wire to the chassis of the car, the body of the car, whatever you wish. Put the red wire to the circuit you want to test, and if the bulb lights up, there's voltage present. If the bulb doesn't light up, you either started out with a broken bulb, or there's no voltage present. So yeah, remember, always start with a bulb you know works, or you'll just waste a whole lot of time and probably end up throwing tools. For this demonstration, we're going to go right to the battery because we know there's voltage present, and that's a brand new bulb, fresh out of the package, so this should work. There we go. You are now witnessing the world's least expensive test light. You ever notice how these bolts that hold an engine block to your engine stand are just the wrong length, where they don't work on anything else in your hot rod? And whenever you move this thing around the shop and there's not an engine on it, those bolts always come up missing. Well, don't hold them in place with tape. Use a rubber band. At least this is reusable, unlike tape. So I don't even have a proper cell phone holder in most of my hot rods. But, again, rubber band to the rescue. Look at the selfie I can get with that baby. Now this might not make your cell phone live too long, but this will work on an AC vent in an old car. So, it's not totally ridiculous. In episode 2 of Finnegan's Garage, I showed you a really cool tool called a transfer point. And if you missed that episode, a transfer point is nothing more than a tool that's meant to thread into a hole and locate the exact center of that hole. So there's a little point right there. So what you do is you thread that into the part until just the point sticks up out of the hole, and then you can lay another piece of metal or cardboard on top of that, tap it with a hammer, and that will help you trace the bolt pattern from the part to your template. If you don't have access to actual transfer screws or transfer points, you can make your own out of a bolt. This is a 1/4 28 bolt. It's meant to go in that 1/4 28 threaded hole. All I'm going to do is cut the head off, grind the threads to a point, thread it back in there, and boom, I've got my own homemade transfer screw. My first bit of advice here for you guys is to wear gloves, because whenever you sharpen something, it's going to get hot. These are fabrication gloves from Miller Electric's Arc Armor line. I like them a lot. The fingers are leather, so they hold up when you're getting close into things that are grinding and want to take your skin off. So these are nice. Tip number 2, hold the part with vice grips. They make rounded jaw vice grips, which do a better job of holding, or straight ones. I don't have the round ones handy, otherwise I would be using them. You can either cut the head of the bolt off first and then sharpen it to a point, or sharpen it and then cut the head off. I usually sharpen it and then cut the head off, because it minimizes the amount of time I've got to hold on to the thing and possibly wreck the threads. Now, you have access to a lathe. You can make this happen precisely. I do not. So, got a decent point there. All I got to do now is cut the head off the bolt, take what's left of it, thread it into my part with the point sticking out just a little bit, and then I lay my other material on top of it, smack it with a hammer, and I've transferred the pattern. Easy. There's another way to do this, and it's super easy as well. Get yourself a piece of paper and a pencil. Rub the pencil on the paper, and voila! There's hole number 1. There's hole number 2. That's really easy and fairly precise. But if you have some kind of weird hatred towards lead and pencils and don't want to use this, get yourself a ball peen hammer, especially a dirty one, and just tap around the hole on both of them. That will also put the pattern in the paper. So there you go. 3 ways to find the hole. You now have no excuses. This hack is incredibly easy, but if you just started wrenching for yourself and you're new to this, it might not be completely obvious. Here's the scenario. You've got a stud broke off in something, and you need to remove it, and you have access to a portion of the threads, but you don't want to wreck those threads. All you need are 2 nuts. Hopefully you have access to those, and you thread one on there, you thread the second one on there. Alright, let me zoom this in a little bit here. Woo. Okay. Now what you want to do is hold the bottom one and tighten the top one onto it. Alright, once those are snugged up together, you're just going to put a wrench on the bottom one and unthread the stud. Once it breaks loose, it'll come out. And then all you do is put wrenches back on the 2 nuts, unthread those, take the stud out, voila, you're done. I know, really easy, but useful. Here's a couple quick hacks for you guys that are welding at home. Want to weld really thick stuff like this. This is 3/4 inch aluminum. Well, there's an issue here. There are not many welders on the market that my garage or your garage likely has the electrical service strong enough to make the welder weld this in one pass. Just doesn't happen. You know, my Miller Multimatic 215, that doesn't even weld aluminum. That will scratch start steel, but not aluminum. My Miller Dynasty 280DX has 280 amps of welding power. That's great for welding stuff, you know, around 3/8 of an inch thick. It ain't gonna weld this without a little bit of help. And that help is going to come in the form of this torch. You can get this at the hardware store. I'm going to use this to preheat these 2 pieces of metal, get them piping hot, and then I can make my welder penetrate these 2 and join them together. Hack number 2 is when you're welding aluminum, or when you're in an awkward position that requires you to lay on the part or lean on the part that you're welding, you need some extra protection. All this gear works great, but there are times where, especially around the wrist area or the glove area, I need more than that, and that's where these 2 items come in. This one here is called a dragon blanket. It's 18 by 18 inches, it's fireproof, it's spark proof, and this will protect me from all that heat generated by the welding process. This one here is a little smaller, it's 12 by 12, it's called an X blanket, it's by Torchwear. Same deal. This will also protect me. This actually works as a heat sink. It's pretty cool. And so both of these are the kind of items I lay on top of things I'm welding on as I'm working on them. Keeps me from getting burned, which is nice. So there you go. There's 2 tips to help you out at home. I'm going to preheat this real quick, and then using a welder that's not technically rated to weld these 2 parts, I'm going to join them together. Now, rarely when you're building a car do you need to weld stuff like this, but every now and again I fabricate something out of really thick aluminum, a bracket or something, and it's easier to make it out of 2 pieces and either bolt it or weld it together than it is to machine it out of one big chunk of a billet of aluminum. So now you can do this with an oxyacetylene torch. I just don't happen to have one handy right now. Now granted, not my best work, but I'm also not a professional welder who does this every day. So, the fact that I was able to make my 280 amp welder penetrate that and make it stick together with fairly decent edge control, dude, I'm happy with it. Cheers.
Sure, brother. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Let's give away some tools. Well, first let's have fun and then we'll give away tools. We'll make them wait till the very end. And what do we got? We have 9 tools from Campbell Hausfeld's Get Stuff Done lineup. I've used 8 of these tools. I haven't used this one, the 6-inch Orbital palm sander, because, as usual, not paint my wife's El Camino, so no need for this. So it's still brand new. But the other ones I have used. I am a fan of them. They do work. And you can win these if we choose your comment. Now, you had a 2-week window to enter. The first time we did a contest here, I think we went, where did we go? We did the heartstrings thing. You know, we found someone that truly deserved the tools, and they tugged at our heartstrings with their comment.
You went that route.
I did.
I don't have that. You know, I'm a true ginger.
You're dead inside?
I don't care about anybody's heartfelt story. I just want to giggle. That's all I really care about. You make me laugh and you're in the running.
Well, and I gotta be honest, this time I just was like, someone make me laugh. That's where I'm going with.
Coming over to the true side.
Yeah, and I don't have one that I think should win. I'll just read them off, we'll read yours off, and then we'll just decide right here, right now. But before we start, what are you hiding? Is that your place of employment?
That was my place of employment.
Well, wait, if it was, what does it matter?
Huh?
What does it matter?
They're not getting any free press. I just like.
Oh! It's like that. Yeah. Okay.
I like the hat. It's comfortable.
Got it. So the first one I have was actually, kind of a heartstrings moment. It's not funny at all, but I'm going to read it anyway. Kyle Robick says, "Love watching the show. I'm slowly converting our carport into a shop for my 4 boys and I to work on family cars, teaching them young and keeping the tradesmanship alive." And I was like, man, dude, I got kids. I got little boys. I get it. That's in the running. And then I started reading ones that made me laugh. And so
and I just kept getting further down the line.
Right. That one kind of fell off.
I have an honorable mention that you didn't make the deadline, but you did make me laugh, so I'm going to read it off to you. From McDonald M73. "I can't believe I'm late. I really could have used those tools to finish the cage for my mother-in-law." I got one from Corny013, I think it is. I can't really see this. "It's easy to sit there and say, I'd like to have those air tools. And I guess that's what I like about it. It's easy. Just sitting there, rocking back and forth, wanting those air tools."
Scott Poffenbarger. I know a David Poffenbarger. I think it's spelled differently. But anyway. My air tool drawer looks a lot like my dresser drawer, mismatched and doesn't work with a shirt. This set of Campbell Hausfeld air tools would be like a nice matching set of Garanimals for motorheads.
Because it's...
Me too.
Is that the buzzer?
Yeah.
Is that time?
That's the sentimental buzzer.
Andrew Crozier. I'm 30 years old and cannot grow a nice beard. These tools would sure help me feel like more of a man.
Eli Gun Gaming. Instead of using my compressor to blow up sex dolls, I could use it with air tools for a change.
Next one.
Brian Conroe. A wise man once told me, aftermarket parts only fit the boxes they came in.
What is the difference between a snowman and a snow woman? Snowball.
Strong Enough 78. Father Finnegan, now that you've been ordained, you must always have a bottle of blessed motor oil, ATF, brake fluid, and coolant. The holy fluids. So that way, the next time you're in trouble with blasphemy, use those fluids and remember this chant. The power of Chrysler compels you. The power of Chrysler compels you. I like that one a lot.
I like Warren's. I couldn't think of any in the comments, so here's a recipe I like for pancakes. And he lists out, and this is the only one I opened up because I want to see how he made his pancakes. But it actually has a whole thing of from start to finish, what to do, how to mix it.
Rauno.org. I'm pretty sure Boshears could fix the economy with bottle jack and zip ties. Do shit with Hoonigans. I know. I will. I don't live anywhere near them. I don't know if you understand that. They're in Long Beach. I'm in Georgia. It's difficult.
A horse walks into a bar. Bartender says, "Hey." Horse says, "You read my mind, buddy."
How about this one? Mason Pacheco. I believe in 3 things. Duct tape, zip ties, and making you passion, you job. That and Mopar for life. It's like 5 things.
Yeah.
And grammatically it's got issues. But the sentiment is nice.
You passion, you job.
YZ4. My wife would love that air hammer. That come out your nose. Oh.
Wow, that one did not go down well. Like some of these we prep beforehand, like should we say this, should we say that? You saved that one.
I did, I'm sorry. Oscar Pais. I need those air tools to justify buying a Campbell Hausfeld air compressor. Wives are many things, but understanding isn't one of them. Hashtag leverage.
I actually have that one as well.
I know.
I love the hashtag leverage.
That's really, without the hashtag leverage, that one's going nowhere.
Yeah.
Alright, so who wins? I'm going to let you pick this time. I'm going to let you pick who wins these tools.
I think, being the married man and hashtag leverage, I think just maybe angle that one to the top.
Yes, the leverage, without hashtag leverage, I don't believe Oscar's, I need those air tools to justify buying a Campbell Hausfeld air compressor. Wives are many things, but understanding isn't one of them. Like, let's be honest. That's a pretty broad generalization. Really not true, but when you add hashtag leverage to the end of that,
yeah.
Alright, I'm with you. I'm with you. Alright, congratulations, Oscar Pais. I think I said your name correctly, not sure.
Maybe in there once.
You have just won the entire lineup of Campbell Hausfeld's Get Stuff Done air tools. Congratulations, sir. Yeah. Yeah, I did. I uploaded a video.
Yeah.
And 50,000 views into it. I went back and started reading the comments, and people were ready to riot because they couldn't hear it. I was like, damn. So I deleted it, took it down, turned the audio all the way up, and it's full of background noise now. And yeah, I lost 50,000 views on that deal, but the next 150,000 people were much happier than the first 50 that saw it.